Hi guys, what's going on? Thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel where I focus on early game and mid game stuff. Today's topic is going to be Raid's most known champion, at least I think she is. It's going to be Arbiter. She has probably carried more accounts through mid game in the last 4 to 5 years than any other champion. She is the champion you get from the Arbiter missions. What's going on with her eye here? It doesn't look very healthy, looks a bit creepy. She's avoiding me now. But that's not the topic of today's video. The question is, does she hold up in 2025? Does it make sense? I mean, definitely go for the Arbiter missions. There is a lot of rewards in there. There is a lot of stuff that you can just do on the side, so it is worth it. The question is, does it make sense to stress? Like to go for these missions and ignore other stuff, like a fusion or something maybe. And really focus on the Arbiter missions in order to get her. For that, I think we'll first look at her kit in order to find out. We'll first look at her kit and then talk about where she used to be useful, where she's useful these days, which is probably going to be very much the same, and then where she can be replaced. And that is going to be the big reason that I see that you might not want to go for her, at least in a very stressful way. Alright, that being said, intro done. Let's go into Arbiter's kit. Attacks one enemy 2 times each hit, 50% when booked, placing weaken for 2 turns. Great skill, weaken on the A1, always useful. Attacks an enemy 1 time, 100% when booked, decreases duration of all enemy buffs by a turn. I think people underestimated this in the past. In the beginning, buffs and stripping and reducing buffs wasn't that amazing even, because there were different areas in the game where you didn't need it as much. But these days, this is actually a great skill. It can be very useful in Arena. It's definitely very useful in Hydra, and one of the big reasons that she is very useful in Hydra. But yeah, not much going on with this skill, you know? It's just this one thing. Luckily, she has a lot of other skills, so she does more than only decrease the turn of enemy buffs by a turn. Decrease enemy buffs by a turn. Right, A3, Mentor of Heroes. That's actually a very nice name for her, I think. Places an increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns, then fills the turn meter of all allies by 30%. This is the skill why she is so widely known as a great arena champion. She is, yeah, still up to this day an amazing option to boost you in arena. Heals all allies by 25% of their HP if they have less than 50% HP. So a little conditional heal on the side, which is very nice as well and can really pick some of your champions back up. And then, talking about picking up, on her A4, revives all dead allies to 30% HP, then fills the turn meter of allies by 20% HP. Not the greatest AoE revive on a 5-turn cooldown, but grants an extra turn to this champion if an ally was successfully revived, making this essentially a 4-turn, and also decreasing the cooldown of the other skills that she has, which is also very useful. Right, and then we also have the aura. Famous aura increases ally speed in arena battles by 30% in combination with her boost. This is the reason she is such a great arena champion. Alright, so let's talk about her use cases, her uses. Right, she's obviously, like I said, one of the most famous arena champions. You can use her in every single one of these arenas. Then we have dungeons. She is just a generally useful champion. The AoE revive alongside the boosts that she gives your team and the debuffs, the weaken is a debuff, but decreasing enemy buffs, that's just, you know, it's a great kit for basically everything that I see here in this dungeon page. Fire Knight, definitely useful. You can even, you can definitely make a point that she's useful in Spider's Den, because turn meter is important in Spider's Den, and weaken on the spider is also something that you need. And these two, she's just a great champion, so very useful. Let's talk about Clan Boss next. Demon Lord gives you weaken, increases your turn meter, gives you increased attack, picks your allies back up. Check, amazing. Hydra. Decreasing enemy buffs, very nice in Hydra. And then everything else I said about Demon Lord also applies for Hydra. So she is a decent Hydra champion. She doesn't bring you the most important buffs and the most important stuff, and also not the most important debuffs. Her weakness just on a single target skill. But she is definitely very useful, and she can give you the survivability that you need in order to keep progressing in Hydra. Chimera, same thing. Strong champion all around. We don't need to talk about Cursed City Doom Tower Faction Wars because she is great there as well. So I think I'm gonna hit you with a spoiler now and hit you with my conclusion. I still think that it isn't worth it to go for the Arbiter missions, unfortunately. Let me make my case. I guess some people are not going to be agreeing with me, which is great and absolutely understandable. But still, let me make my point, and then, yeah, maybe you will be agreeing with me afterwards or not, which is absolutely fine, obviously. So the missions, like we said, are quite the grind, and you get a lot of resources, but especially after getting these 2 legendary tomes, but also after, yeah, especially after the 2 legendary tomes, the last 60 missions to getting Arbiter can be very, very hard if you haven't prepared for them. By the way, if you want to prepare for them, you can look up all the missions on hellhades.com, actually. Just type in Arbiter mission and you will get to this, Arbiter missions and rewards. And Hell Hades gives you every single mission that there is. If you want to go for Arbiter, then it does make sense just to read through missions part 4, also the others, but especially part 4. Just read through these, and yeah, that might save you from any unpleasant surprises. And it might save you from investing a lot of resources and then noticing that you can't finish the Arbiter missions after all, right? So it's a grind. Why do I say I feel like it's not worth it to focus on the Arbiter missions? I'm doing them on the side, which is definitely something that everybody should do. But why shouldn't you focus solely on them or put your main focus on them? The reason for that is in my roster. And I guess many of you will already guess my point. There's a lot of great supports that we get from download links and other areas. I mean, everybody I have got here is either Plarium Points program, download link, or Apprentice Pass, or promo codes. So these are basically all free except for Rector Draft. Like I said, she's from the Apprentice Pass. And if we look at these champions, then the grind for Arbiter isn't really necessary anymore, because these champions give me the support I need in order to, for example, tackle dungeons. I'm doing stage 20 on Dragon, I'm doing stage 20 on Ice Golem, I'm doing stage 20 on all the potion keeps, and I haven't focused on Arbiter. As you can see, I don't have her. The greatest example, I think, for Arbiter not really being worth it, not being worth the grind these days, in my opinion, is Tagore. I personally haven't leveled him on this account. I did on an account before. I can tell you he's an S tier support. He's absolutely amazing. He can, well, not solely, but he does 90% of the carrying that you need in order to progress through this game. He's great in Arena and all other areas. He's very much like Arbiter, to be quite honest. Let's compare them a bit, and maybe you'll understand what I'm saying. Attacks all enemies, increase speed, so that's nice. You know, Arbiter gives turn meter, he gives increased speed, then heals all allies by 15% of this champion's max HP, and he is going to have strong max HP. Sorry guys, I do have to, in order to show his max HP, I do have to go into the index very quickly. 18,000, which is decent, and he is definitely going to give you a strong heal, which is unconditional in opposition to Arbiter. So support-wise, he's stronger here. Then we have an AoE revive, just like Arbiter. 30%, which is the same. There is no turn meter boost here, but he has a shield instead. on all allies equal to 20% of this champion's max HP again. So this is quite the nice shield. You can also use this ability outside of revive situations. So he gives you support in any case, you know, even if either if none of your champions die, either if none of your champions die in your team, he gives you shield buffs to make sure that nobody dies in the first place. So this skill is pretty great. Granted, it's on a 5 turn, but he's going to be relatively quickly. He's going to be relatively quick. Sorry, my brain is turning into potato salad right now. It feels like. So I'm trying to wrap this video up. So he places that shield a 5 turn, but like I said, he's going to be relatively quick, and so he's going to cycle back to this ability relatively quickly as well. And then he has a damage reduction by 10% on all allies who are under 50% HP. That's super amazing. That's like a mini Duchess. And then we have an increased defense on the ally with the lowest HP, and we have an HP aura by 25% in all battles. So this guy, he is a support monster, and he does many things that Arbiter would do in your teams if you build him. The big topic that remains, I think, is there is definitely Arbiter. There is Arbiter. There is definitely Hydra, where I feel like Arbiter is considerably better, but you will get other stuff from your allies that you don't need. She's also going to be a bit better in Clan Boss because of the weaken, but if you get the weaken from somewhere else, that's not really necessary either. Arena, I think, is the big place where she really shines, Arbiter, and where you are going to miss her value, but I personally don't value Arena all that highly. I'm enjoying live Arena even without, to my surprise, I'm enjoying live Arena even without Arbiter. You can't really compare yourself with like from Gold 2, I think. You can't really, when you're relatively early in the game, you can't really beat all these enemies that are these enemy teams that are in Gold 2. Anyway, even if you have Arbiter, because you're not going to be quick enough. If you have the gear to build her quick enough to win the speed race, well, then that's great, but you're probably going to be fine without Arbiter anyways, and I was able to progress to Gold 5 without her just by beating these one-man defense teams. Calvalax is definitely too strong for me, but you know, there's these teams popping up from time to time, and when you attack these, you will slowly but surely progress in Arena. So I don't really see any area where she is essential anymore these days. That being said, she is a great champion, but I feel like she isn't worth the grind on these missions, unfortunately. Like, no, she is worth it, just don't focus too much on them and miss other stuff. That's what I'm saying. All right. I feel like I have to finish this video very quickly, otherwise I'm only going to talk gibberish. So, thank you for stopping by. Please tell me what you think about the Arbiter missions, and if she has qualities that definitely excel over all of these and make it worth your while to go hard on the Arbiter missions. I hope you have a great day. I hope to see you on the next one. All the best. Until then, bye.